Hey guys, Brandon here, and I'm in the Corvette once again, and how appropriate for today's video. In this video, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of give you guys a little 2-year update with this car, as well as a little backstory that follows the video that started everything here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, 2 years ago to this day, May 24th, I uploaded my most viewed video, which was the surprising my dad with a Corvette C7 Stingray Z51. And I've made a lot of videos since then with this car, but I never really gave you guys the backstory on how that kind of went about happening. And so I thought in this 2-year update, I would include that, a backstory that is actually quite interesting. I guess we'll just get right into it. About 3 weeks before my dad's birthday, which is actually on the 23rd, I uploaded that video the day after, but about 3 weeks before my dad's birthday, my mom knew, obviously, and still holds true today, how much of a car guy I am, but no one in my family has ever owned a true sports car. My dad's owned like a BMW 3 Series before, a pre-owned, but nobody in my family's ever owned a true sports car like a Corvette or anything along those lines. So when my mom told me 3 weeks before his birthday, hey Brandon, keep it, you know, a secret, but I'm looking at getting Dad a car for his birthday, I know that he really likes the BMW M4. Now this is not something I told you guys. This was supposed to be a BMW M4 for my dad. And as you can see, that didn't end up happening. So my dad really liked the new M3 and M4s, mostly the M4, he liked the coupe. But 2 years ago, as you guys may recall, they were, well, obviously a lot newer than they are now, but the pre-owned ones didn't come up, you know, definitely not as much as they are now. And when they did, they really weren't that crazy far off from MSRP. Dealerships were giving zero incentives off of M4s and M3s 2 years ago. They were just the new M car, so it was hard to land one at a good price. And so my mom said 3 weeks before his birthday, Brandon, go on Auto Trader, do what you can do. If you can find a good deal on an M4, we'll get it. And I was so excited because, like I said, we never had a sports car like that in the family. So I got to looking, and she didn't like any of the prices, because my mom, I hope she's not watching this, she probably is, but she's a very, I don't know what the word is, if she doesn't feel like she's getting a good deal, she's not getting it, she's not getting the car. So she felt like she really wanted to get something that was low mileage, new year, way off MSRP. And with that M car at that time, it just wasn't happening. So I told her kind of off the cuff, I'm like, what about the new Corvettes? Because my dad mentioned something about these Stingrays a lot. He said to my mom, oh, you should look into getting a Corvette. That'd be a cool car for you. That'd be cool. But I think that was his way of wanting her to get a cool car for herself, a Stingray for himself as well. Wink, wink, if you know what I mean. But when we couldn't get a price that would, you know, make my mom happy with the M4, I said, why don't you just look at Corvettes? I think Dad would really like a Corvette. I might have been speaking on my behalf as well. With that said, I got on Auto Trader and I started looking at Corvettes within the area, Central Texas, and 2 of them really stood out. And I knew that my dad would like Arctic White and everything like that as well. So there's 2 2015 Stingrays that stood out, Z51 packages, black wheels, red calipers. Both of them were identical. One of them was brand new at a dealership here in Austin, Henner Chevrolet, and another one had about 2,000 miles on it. And pretty much, to make a long story short, the sticker on this car, I mean, times have definitely changed with the Z06 and Grand Sports being out. These have kind of dipped in the market, as you know, one would expect. But the sticker on this car was 76 grand. And the dealership was able to price match well, we were just honest with the dealership and said, hey, we're cross-shopping between these 2. One of them's pre-owned. And they were able to give us this car with a lot of Chevrolet incentives that they had at that time. For example, if you sign up with a federal credit union, as well as some other kind of discounts, long story short, they just had a lot of different incentives at that time that we were able to get this car that, again, like I said, stickered for 76 grand. Just under 70 grand. It was in the 68, 69 or so. And that made my mom happy, and I didn't expect her to buy it because she's usually kind of snood with prices, but she was happy with this one, and she kind of ended up surprising me. She ended up buying this car 2 weeks before my dad's birthday, so about a week after looking at different M cars and Corvettes. Kind of fast forwarding here, but yeah, that took about a week, found this car, got it, and she told me she didn't get it, and then I saw this in our neighbor's garage hiding from my dad. So I was thrilled. I thought it was like, I felt like it was a surprise for me. But anyway, the hard part that followed suit with that was having to keep my mouth shut for 2 weeks. That was difficult. Couldn't upload pictures, couldn't make a video with the car, couldn't do anything. It was just sitting across the street for 2 weeks. Nobody could do anything. 2 weeks later though, as you guys know, we surprised him. And to clear up some things with that video, what ended up happening is we woke up on his birthday. We asked him what he wanted to do, even though we knew exactly what needed to happen. There's a restaurant not too far from us called Z Tejas, and we parked the car while my dad was showering that morning. My mom and I drove the BRZ, she drove the Corvette. We went to the restaurant, parked the Corvette, she went back in the BRZ with me back home, all while my dad was showering. So then right when he got out the shower, we're like, oh, what do you want to do? How about brunch? How about Z Tejas? And he was like, oh, that sounds good. So then we kind of just lured him right on in. So we went to Z Tejas for brunch, and the funny thing is nobody really wanted to go there anyway. We just knew we had to find somewhere to give him the car like that. And right when we got to the restaurant, I did what I would normally do. The Corvette was sitting out there. I'm like, oh, what a cool car. And I got out and started filming it, pretending I'm taking pictures of it like I normally would. And my dad didn't think much of it. He just said, yeah, that's a pretty cool car. He didn't think much of it. We go in the restaurant. That was a really, really long meal. All I wanted to do was just get out there so we could surprise him with the car. Once we get out of the restaurant, I went back up to the Corvette to take more pictures, and ended up opening the car because I had the keys on us. And opened the car, and I'm like, oh, I hope the owner wouldn't mind. And by then, my dad realized exactly what was going on. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm probably mixing in pieces of that video while I'm saying it here. Where this whole backstory gets very, very interesting, and for a lack of a better way to say it, where shit hit the fan, was what happened after that. The surprise went well. My dad really liked the car. It took him so by surprise. If he thought he was getting a car, he definitely didn't expect getting a Corvette. Anyway, so everything was all good. We went back home, just kind of debriefed a little bit, and then my dad started loading up his camera equipment and said, hey Brandon, you want to go on a drive and just take some pictures of the car? And I'm like, absolutely. So we loaded up the car with some camera equipment, went out. If you guys are familiar with the Central Texas, Central Austin area, we went, hit up Lime Creek Road, went down by Valente to the Oasis restaurant on Lake Travis. What a great drive. The problem with that though is, if you guys recall, 2 years ago in May, this is when Lake Travis got filled up. It was in a bad drought and it got filled up pretty much overnight. This is when bad storms were coming in. May, this is kind of Tornado Alley, kind of starting up here and then going north. Central, or just Texas, Central Texas in general, around May gets hit with some very bad storms. And I knew of that there was a chance on his birthday, the 23rd, 2 years ago, I knew that there's a chance for some pretty bad weather, but I was looking at the radar and I didn't see anything. So I said, you know what, I'll keep my eye on the radar, no problem, we'll just go on a drive. So about 25-30 minutes later, we arrive at the Oasis, and I can see some really dark clouds rolling in. And I'm gonna mix in some pictures I took of this time. So I was taking these pictures, and in the distance I could hear some thunder. And if I look out way into the water on Lake Travis, there's some really dark clouds rolling in. So I pull up my phone and I look at the radar app, and sure enough, I could see some storm cells developing, but they just didn't look serious enough to, you know, threaten us or the car. Cars don't melt in the rain. We've driven this in the rain. I drive my car in the rain. We're not afraid of that. What we're afraid of, though, is when the weather gets really volatile and there's tornado watches and hail and all that stuff. So we were there taking pictures at the Oasis on the parking garage for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then better judgment kicked in. I told my dad, hey, I mean, the storm cells on my phone look small, but we should probably just head back home. And he says, okay, that sounds good. Got back in the car, went down Lime Creek once again, pulled off one more time to get some pictures, and these are some of the pictures we got then. Pulled off one more time just to get some more pictures, because again, at this time the car had maybe like 25 miles on it. It had 11 in that morning, just driving it back from the dealership. So it was a brand new car. To see it kind of threatened the way it was, I haven't even gotten started yet. So this car at this time had less than 30 miles on it. We're taking more pictures of it, and at this time the thunder was getting really loud. And to where then again better judgment kicked in. I'm like, let's just go. Off the second location, I said, no more stops for pictures, we'll do this tomorrow, let's just go home. And then my dad said, yeah, that sounds good. And then this is where he made a mistake that ended up working out okay. My dad said, do you want to drive it back? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, let's do it. So he handed me the keys. I got in the car, first time driving the Corvette. I've never been in the driver's seat of a C7, even though I heard so much about it. So I was super excited to drive it, yet at the same time a little nervous for the weather happening around us. I thought we're about 25, 30 minutes from home, shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going down Lime Creek Road, which if you guys aren't familiar with Lime Creek Road, it's a road that once you start, you just have to keep going. It's a very tight, technical, twisty road, two-lane road. There's no overtaking. It's very, it's a demanding road if you're driving it at speed. But like I said, once you start it, I mean, there's no turning around, and it's kind of 20 minutes or so to go down it. So with that said, I started driving down the road. First off, driving the Corvette quite slowly and enjoying my time with it. So as we're driving down Lime Creek, I was trying not to think of the weather so much because all around me was just these pitch black clouds. But I thought, it's okay, just keep on driving, focus, don't crash this very, very nice and new, expensive car. And then my mom did something that she probably shouldn't have done. She ended up calling my dad, and it was hooked up to Bluetooth, so it was on speaker, and she said, "Where are you guys?" And then we're like on Lime Creek Road, heading home, probably 20, 25 minutes away. And she says, "Get home quick, there's tornado watches, there's hail in the area, it's getting bad, the wind's gusting like crazy." So she was like, "Just get home quick." And I'm driving the car, nervous already to drive the car, right? But excited at the same time. And then I get this news, and then I was like, okay, get home quick, right? Tight and twisty road, trying to go through all the cars, break-in procedures, because it was so new. And then that's when I realized, okay, I should probably start putting a little bit more throttle into it. So started to drive it a little bit more spiritedly, not that I was really wanting to at that time, but just because I wanted to get home quite quickly. And so this was kind of a weird, bittersweet moment. The car, you know, we were riding around in touring mode, kind of boring, but just getting a feel for it. And as soon as I started putting my foot down, the valve started opening up, the engine and the exhaust sound, it started to sound pretty great in a way that we haven't heard it before. Like, for example, when you hear that for the first time, it's actually pretty great. So when I first heard that, I thought, this is great, this is exciting, but at the same time, I am nervous because I just didn't want the car on its first day out in ownership of us to be stuck in the storm. So I'm driving down the road somewhat spiritedly. My dad doesn't know whether to tell me to slow down or get home quickly, so we're just in a weird situation. And then all of a sudden, if you guys know Texas weather, in a snap, all these leaves started blowing like crazy. The wind was gusting like crazy. I could feel it in the car start moving left and right. It got so windy. While I'm starting to concentrate on that, trying to drive home, it was kind of chaotic. Anyway, started pouring not too long after, lightning, everything, you know, the whole works of a huge Texas thunderstorm. And then I started thinking to myself, once I get out of Lime Creek, where's the nearest, like, you know, coverage? Should I go through a drive-through, like a touchless drive-through, or a gas station? Where can I find cover? And so pretty much we just kind of went down the long haul, got on the highway 183 and just busted to just get home. We got home finally. To make the long story short, even though this is probably not at all short, I take that back. Anyway, we got home, parked it, and literally within a few minutes after that, hail started coming down. So we got quite lucky. Not that hail would have dented this car totally because it's fiberglass, but still, on a new car, hail, it would have not been good for the paint and overall. It just goes without saying, you don't want the car to get hailed on. Ended up parking it, and I was, from that point on, for about a week or so, kind of scared to get back in the Corvette because it just reminded me of that horrible pressure of trying to get home quickly in a car that was being pampered and everything like that. Yeah, interesting backstory on that. So I remember everyone on that video was commenting, "Oh wow," because like right when we pulled out of the restaurant, we were following a Jeep with like a tire thing that said "Life is good," and they thought the whole day was just great. Everything ended up working out okay, but I remember how quickly emotions changed from excited to scared shitless, if I'm honest. I literally was scared for this car's life, not so much our life. I knew we'd be okay, but just the car, I felt for it. Like I said, everything ended up working okay. So, little backstory that you guys may not have known. Everywhere from the should have been an M4 to now it's a Corvette, and then the first day out with it. Very interesting. So I thought that little backstory would be kind of interesting. I never talked about it for some reason. I don't know why it took 2 years to kind of give you guys an update on that main video. But yeah, with that said, this isn't so much of an owner's review because I'm not the owner and my dad's really not kind of the type to do this and talk about it. But with that said, just know that it's been 2 years. It's not a high mileage Corvette. 2 years, we're at just over 11,000 miles. It needs to do a little bit more drive, so this summer we'll be sure to do that. But yeah, 11,000 miles and literally problem free. Just gone through a couple services at no charge. Everything's being taken care of great. So the ownership experience, from what I can tell you, it's been great and problem free, as you would expect a Corvette to be. Anyway, I thought I would kind of I did cover everything here, but just thought it would be interesting to hop in the Corvette and kind of improv tell you guys a little bit about that backstory that you guys probably didn't know, or definitely didn't. But anyway, that just about does it for this video. More videos to come with the Corvette for sure. If you guys have any kind of specific requests, then please do tell, and I will try to do it. But anyway, like I said, that does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And also, this YouTube channel just fairly recently crossed 15,000 subscribers, so I thank you guys all for that. But yeah, like I said, I'll see you guys on the next one.